my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in the cradles, profanities. I see the world through ice covered in ink and bleach. Cross out the ones who heard my cries and watched me weep. I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush.
I walked straight into the lion's den of gas.
Leica. Wow, Leica. Oh my gosh, another Leica.
And I came out on the other side, I think, realizing three, maybe obvious, but things that are important to know about yourself and understand my gas situation. Here's what happened. Woodward Camera is a local camera shop here in the Metro Detroit area that hosts photo walks every once in a while. Typically, they're themed differently based on the sponsor of the event. Sometimes Olympus is doing nature and wildlife. Sometimes Fuji doing street photography, I guess, whatever they do. This one happened to be Leica. And as you guys know, Leica is like a real soft spot for me because I love the way they're built. I love their full frame, and they're small and they're compact and their lenses are tiny, and the heritage of the cameras and all that stuff. But they're also the camera that I keep buying and selling because they don't really make sense. I can't do video with them. I can't chase my kids around, blah, 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 blah. And so I was a little nervous to go down there. Now here's how it typically works. The sponsor or the company that's promoting the walk usually brings gear for you to test out and try. In this case, they go in order of when you signed up. So I didn't know where I'd be on the list. So I had to bring my own camera, obviously. And what I had decided was I probably wasn't early enough to be someone to benefit from getting one of these Leicas. So I figured I'm going to give myself the most Leica-esque experience that I have in my kit, which happened to be the Nikon FE2 film camera with the 50mm 1.8. And I brought that because I was hoping that if I didn't get a Leica, being surrounded by all these people that are shooting these Leicas, that I would feel like maybe I wasn't missing too much, and the savings in money and maybe some of the benefits of the Nikon were worth it. And sure enough, they were giving out like M11s, M11Ps, they had Q2s, I think, I don't know, Q2 monochromes, whatever they had, lenses, the whole bit. They were giving those out, and I didn't get one of the Leicas. And so I ended up going through the photo walk around with a buddy of mine, I guess. Joe, what's up? We met through YouTube and on Instagram, so he lives in the area. We hung out, talked, met some really interesting people, tons of Leicas around, as you saw earlier in the video. And I just shot film. And at the end of the day, I had a really, really good experience. And the Nikon FE2 is kind of the great camera for this because it's got some Leica-esque qualities, like the brass top and the brass dials. It's kind of got this like vintage heritage to it. So it checks a couple boxes for me, but like it's not a rangefinder, it's not a Leica, and shooting through an SLR, is a different experience for sure. But it has some benefits too, where like you can put things on automatic or aperture priority, if you will. You can set your exposure compensation right on top of the camera, and so some of those features are really, really nice. And I end up appreciating those after you shoot something like, fully manual like a Leica. And I guess I would tell you that I came away with three reasons why my gas flares up from time to time. And ultimately, I think I'm realizing that I'm falling into one area. I keep saying this, I know, and I keep falling out of the trap. But some evidence of this is that I'm actually shooting this video on a Fuji X-T30, and I'll talk about that in a second and why this evidence of what I learned. The first thing I learned is this. More time on YouTube, less time shooting equals gas. That's pretty simple. I think we all know that. The reason why is you watch all these videos and you see these people that like talk about the pros and cons. It's almost like they're salesmen talking to why the camera that they're using is the best camera for you. And then you see pictures, you're like, well, those are pretty good images. And so you start thinking all this kind of stuff. And the reality is if you just go out and shoot, you realize whatever in front of you is good enough. And even though it might have limitations, you learn to work around them, and like that quirkiness becomes like the selling point to you. For example, this Nikon FE2. it kind of sold me on the $150 camera, the Nikon FE2 that I bought from Woodward Camera, ironically enough, was great for that day. I had the wrong lens on it because I was in a city and a 50 millimeter is a little tight for that, but that's okay. I made do with it. I didn't need a Leica because I shot several rolls that day, a roll of Kodak Gold 200 and a roll of Cinestill 400D. I realized that not spending $7,000 on the camera and using this $150 camera to get a very good experience was good enough. That's lesson number one. Time on YouTube and no time shooting equals gas. Lesson number two, it was that the what if game is so toxic. And I play this. This is actually the basis of my gas, the what if game. What if I'm shooting a wedding? Oh, I need 2 card slots. I need amazing autofocus. I need full frame sensor. I need 1.2 glass. But what if I'm going on vacation and I just want to not be bothered and document my journey? I want small and portable and good out of the box color science. But what if I'm going to do video though? I need IBIS. I need flip screen. It's like they are opposing each other. The big 2 card slot memory, full frame, big 1.2 lens camera cannot be the portable vacation camera. I'm sorry. You have to be able to accept that you're bringing your big camera with you on vacation, or you have to be able to accept that you're going to shoot a wedding with a small compact camera. One of the two. Okay? So the what if game is toxic. Yeah, last but not least, is that not giving yourself enough time to appreciate the camera fully leads to a vicious cycle. I think there's a curve for somebody like me and maybe like you if you watch us have gas, that's like you get it and you're excited and there's just like this dump off, this like, and you're like, oh, and then you go back to where you were. And if you ride that wave out long enough, I think there's a gradual increase back to the top of like being satisfied with what you're doing and what you have. Now, I think if you get past that like second hump of like I've been using this camera for a while and you realize that, hey, I truly do need something a little different, then I think like there's a benefit to that and like you can buy yourself a new piece of gear. But I also think like the initial high, the consumerism or whatever, and then fall off. Oh, fourth thing, that's what it was. I do enjoy trying new gear. I am a kind of like compulsive consumer like tinkerer, if that's a thing. Here's what I'm saying. Back when Android was brand new like phones, like the Motorola Droid and the HTC One and all those cameras, I would buy those and I would hack them. I would root and ROM them through a forum called XDA Developers, maybe you know what I'm talking about. And I always had to have like the faster processor, the more RAM, the better screen, the better touch resistor or whatever was in the phone. And so I swapped phones like I do cameras. I was doing it every couple weeks. It was crazy. And finally I got forced into like using an iPhone. And I still don't like iPhone as much as Android, but I'm just like, it works and it's good enough for me and it is what it is. Cars, similarly, I've had 5 cars in the last 5 years. I need a truck, I need an EV, I need a fuel efficient car, I need something that's utilitarian, all these different things. Right now I'm driving a Toyota 4Runner, you saw it in the beginning. This is a super reliable car with great resale value, poor gas mileage, it's slow, but like very functional. It should be great. It's like maybe the iPhone of cars in a lot of ways. I should just keep it and stop playing with it. It costs me money. It's the same thing with cameras. I enjoy tinkering, experimenting, and I'm at the point in cameras where I've pretty much used everything. Not everything, but most everything. And I think it's run its course. And so I learned that about me, and I think ultimately 2 cameras is where I'll end up. One that's travel and one that's more professional, if you will. And I'll probably end up using the one that's travel 99% of the time because that's my life. Like I document my kids and I bring, I'm a mobile, very on the run person. All that to say, I came out of this Leica event wanting a Leica very much and realizing I cannot buy one because of all the reasons I just said. So 8 minutes and 45 seconds of talking. I'm sorry. Here are the film photos from that day. I don't even know if they're good. They're getting developed right now, so I'm making this video, editing it, and I will dump the photos at the end. Here are some of the shots that I took on the Nikon FE2 with the 50mm 1.8E series lens, Cinestill 400D, and some Kodak Gold 200. All right, see ya.
Tape my eyes open to force reality. Why can't you just let me eat my weight in glee? I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in their cradles, profanities. Some days I feel skinnier than all the other days. Sometimes I can't tell if my body belongs to me. I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush.